I don't think this story's gotten enough visibility, so naturally we are taking it up here. Joining us now to talk about it is Joe Concha, media columnist at The Hill and Fox News contributor. Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it very much. So, Mr. Durham uncovers this lawyer, Sussman. Sussman goes to the FBI's general counsel and talks about this conspiracy, the Trump campaign, and Trump is linked to Russia and Russiagate, and there's collusion, and bad things are going to happen. Why don't you take it from there? What's the story with Sussman, and why has he been completely discredited?
Because Sussman went to the FBI as if he was just this regular average Joe, for lack of a better term, right? Didn't, disclose the fact that he was a Clinton campaign lawyer. And here you have a situation where you have Democratic operatives, right? And even intelligence officials feeding this Russiagate narrative to the press. And the press, they're like seagulls with keyboards. You ever go to the Jersey Shore? And you could throw anything up to a seagull, right? It could be a sirloin steak, it could be Pop Rocks, it doesn't matter. They will eat it and absorb it without verifying it. And that's what the media did with Russia. They didn't verify anything. They loved the story too much because they were aghast that Donald Trump actually won. So then you have, well, it had to be Russia. Somebody had to help them. And then for 3 years during this presidency, that's what dominated news cycles. And it hamstrung President Trump. Obviously, you worked for him, where every other news conference, he's got to take 5, 6, 10 questions on this until the Mueller report comes out, clears them. And then even after that, even to this day, you watch other cable news networks, they still say that this happened when it's been totally disproven.
Sussman and his law firm was on the Clinton campaign payroll.
Yeah.
So that spread along with this GPS fusion and the discredited Steele report, what these intel agencies were doing. So this was the Washington swamp at its worst. As you noted, plaguing Trump, I mean, he had to go through impeachment. Obviously, he was proven innocent, no conviction there. But it kept on going. Now this stuff's coming out. So this is odd to me. It's 5 years later. Sussman was a phony. He was a paid. Look, I'm looking at this and saying to myself, this whole Russiagate collusion, collaboration nonsense came out of the Hillary Clinton campaign, pure and simple. And I want to put another name that's surfacing in news reports, and that is Jake Sullivan, who was the National Security Advisor. He was part of this, and he was someone who was selling this business. And I think Sullivan has some splaining to do about that.
He does, but he has to be asked questions about it.
Right.
And you have to have a curious media. And if the media went after this with even 1/10 the vigor that they did when Donald Trump they thought he was involved, then maybe they would get to a deeper level on this, where it's not just Sussman, but who else besides Sussman was involved in pushing this narrative and going ahead with this sort of thing? Does it go all the way up to Hillary Clinton? It's hard to imagine that she didn't know anything about this.
That's right. We've never really gone through that, have we?
Right.
What did she know, and when did she know it?
When did she know it to the Nixon people?
Does that go back to all the, she erased or cleansed the emails that never saw the light of day? I mean, there's a lot we don't know. Trump paid a heavy toll on that, okay? I mean, I was in the Trump White House for 3 of the 4 years. He paid a heavy toll on that. But this media bias, it was all fake news. All fake news. Where are the investigative reporters when we needed them?
The investigative reporters are looking at their trophy shelves right now, Larry, and they're looking at the Pulitzers they won for their reporting on Russia collusion. It should be like Amazon, there should be a return policy on those now, because obviously that reporting was based on a lie, and yet they won awards for it. So the people that should be pursuing the story still, it's silence of the lambs at this point. Apathy rules the day.
I mean, I say this, somebody, I'm not even sure who, maybe some chorus, maybe filling up Yankee Stadium, owes Donald Trump an apology.
Apologies.
Frankly, an apology.
You would think that would happen.
Just was wrong. Somebody, and look, I have a lot of pals in the media too.
Sure.
Worked with them for many, 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 many years, including my White House stint. Somebody should just step forward. Just say, okay, we've now learned this was wrong. At least I don't hear that. Let me ask you one more thing.
Sure.
Another story. It started out as a Reuters story, but it's gotten bigger. All the business about the January 6th conspiracy to bring the Capitol down.
Insurrection.
And so forth. Apparently, the FBI is now telling a lot of people that their investigations showed Absolutely no conspiracy whatsoever. What do you make of that?
Larry, you look at that Reuters story and it's really telling. Senior law enforcement official with knowledge of the investigation, 90 to 95% of these cases are one-off cases. He goes on to say, there was no grand scheme with Roger Stone and Alex Jones and all these people to storm the Capitol and take hostages. In other words, that word you hear in media so often, an insurrection, as if this was like an organized coup to overthrow the government. No, it was a riot that got out of control. It was a horrible day for this country, and those 100 officers that were injured, whoever touched any of those officers should be prosecuted to the extent of the law and then some. We're not dismissing it in any way, but when I hear one more person in this industry say that January 6th was worse than 9/11, what an insult to those families and the victims and the EMTs and the police and the firemen when 3,000 people were lost in that day. There is no comparison whatsoever, but the media will try to keep this story alive for as long as they can because it's a way to talk about Donald Trump when they actually had good ratings, and now obviously he's off the main stage.
I mean, it was a terrible day. You're dead right. Wish it never happened. Dead right. Lives were lost. Casualties were taken.
Yeah.
But the fundamental analysis, I mean, that there was a conspiracy right away. Blame Trump. Blame Trump. All right. Look, I'm a loyalist to Trump. I think he made mistakes. Okay, he disappointed some of us in his last days in office. Sure. I get that. I think his achievements were very, very admirable. I get that too. I'm just saying, why can't this record ever be set straight? Let's go back to the Sussman story. Why can't that record be set straight? That came out of the Clinton campaign.
Yes.
They just produced that.
Christopher Steele, same thing. He was hired by the Clinton campaign to find dirt on Donald Trump. There's multiple avenues on this one. I guess the only justice is that she still lost despite these.
Yeah, I guess she did.
Despite these efforts,
The
right?
queen bee, the mother bee lost.
The mother bee lost.
She may never recover from that either.
Well, you know, I look at the Democratic bench. I know you got to go. Let's say Joe Biden doesn't run in 2024. 82-year-old Joe Biden. And Kamala Harris is certainly not a good plan B when she's polling at 35% approval. They're going to be maybe looking for somebody else. And I keep thinking, who's on the Democratic bench? And it's not Andrew Cuomo.
Oh, no,
it's not Gavin Newsom.
Don't go there.
It could be.
Don't go there, please. This is such a lovely show.
I know.
You know, Joe,
Sorry.
I was at a joint birthday party. Dear friends of ours, a married couple, they had birthdays together one day apart. And one of the guests got up and was toasting them, and they said, well, nowadays, 60 is the real 50. And 70 is the real 60. But 80 is still 80.
Oh, that's tremendous. That makes you 50, by the way, if 60 is the real 50.
Well, I'm
good
close.
for you.
Thanks, all good. Joe Concha, thanks very much.
No
Appreciate it
problem.
very much. Terrific stuff.
Bye.